Good morning to day 203. I'll show you what actually happened yesterday. You saw some of the bad news. So let me show you how we ended. Okay, so we've actually got the trough for the main waste pipe that's going to come from there dug out to go right across. But unfortunately that's now right in the way of... Oh, get right over. So we've now got obviously the front of the garage taken out. Got the side of the garage taken out. Go to the side. This pipe here has got to come out. As you can see, it's completely wrecked. So all of this has got to come off. All the pipe's got to come out. We've got to run a new pipe all the way down to where we cut it off there. I'll take you over to show you what I mean on the other side. So the pipe that was coming out here, as I said yesterday, this pipe is going to end up being the toilet to the main house's sewage. It's also going to be the sink that's going to sit over there as well. And that was diagonally coming here and going straight over. And as you can see, the pipe is now just sitting there. So we've dug it all up. This is now the footing for the back of the garage. The pipe there is there, look, it was completely crushed. So we've cut it back. So there's now the pipe there and the pipe here that are both going into here. Hopefully underneath here they're still in one piece. And we've now got to reconnect. So we're going to take that pipe now around this footing here and along here and concrete it in. We're also going to do the same with this pipe here. The footing for the garage is going to go along here. We're going to get the pipe beside the actual footing. We're going to concrete that in as well. So again, unfortunately, we've got to take all of this out, rip that pipe out and redo all the way down here on both sides. Now the dilemma is, as you all may remember, the biggest problem I had with the sewage was this pipe here that goes from this well over to this well. That was the biggest problem. We had one here, there to there. That was a problem, and this one was a problem. Now the concrete lorry, as you can see by the concrete, was sat on here. So do I leave that? Bear in mind we now have 4 foot of mud on there. Or do I dig it up and check it? And worst case scenario, if it is okay, change it to a thicker pipe, because they've been using the thin pipe, which technically is used down the side of... It's quite thin. It's what you would normally use down the side of a building, for instance, if a waste was coming down. You don't normally use that. You use a thicker gauge normally for going in the floor. So we've got 5 conduits here that we're going to be using to run the air conditioning, the water into the building. That's meant to be going across here. We should really be using a thicker gauge for all of that, because that's going to be under the floor here and obviously going to have traffic. And obviously the waste that's going to be going right across here has to be thicker as well. So why they use thinner stuff, I don't know. Obviously I'm in a different country. We wouldn't normally use thinner stuff in the UK. But I just assumed that's what they did here. As they say, never assume. It makes an arse of you and me. So I think what we should really do for a bit of a sanity check is literally get the excavator whilst it's here to take this up all the way along and check the pipe and redo it. Even if it is okay, at least we then know and we can then take that up. So I think we put a thicker pipe from here all the way along to there to make sure we're happy with that. Get that then set back down into the concrete. Reroute this one here in thicker pipe, and the same over here. Get this one completely taken up and rerun that one as well. So not a great start to our Christmas week, but it is what it is. Okay, so up here, apparently the pool man's going to be coming today at some stage. His text saying he's coming, so I assume that means he's going to start in the pool. So yeah, so that's good news. So hopefully he's going to arrive today at some stage. Andrew, who does the partition in the ceilings, he's confirmed today that he's off getting materials because everyone's now open. Hopefully everyone's going to be open today. So he's going to get some more metal U-channel made for the walls. And he wants to crack on within here today. He wants to get the ceilings done. So the electricians and the plumbers need to get their electrics. So the conduit element is nearly done, but I think they've got to run the cabling through. So once the cabling's in, then they can obviously do their... they can do the ceilings as well. So he's itching to get stuck into here. He's actually had this welded because our ceilings are so high. He's had to have this welded extra to try and go up a little bit higher, as far as I'm aware. But anyway, so he's quite keen to get in here and start doing in here. As I said the other day, we're pretty much left with some of the plastering pretty much done now, ceilings and walls. We need to get the concrete boards in the shower areas done now. So we can get on with that today. Again, another one pretty much done in here. This is the only bedroom, as I said, we've got to take one side off to get the insulation in. Andrew was working through into the bedrooms yesterday, and the main bedroom's this way. So if I come into here again, the shower's got to be concrete boarded, and the plumber he was here yesterday. Oh, he's actually got that put in. It's got the extension to the handheld. I thought he would have done the head as well, but he's not done that yet. So again, that's got to be concrete boarded once he's finished that. We have pipes down here. Not too sure what that's there for. Make sure no damage to the door, because the door's been left out. That's okay. Yeah, so he's got plasterboard in the main bedroom, and he was also plasterboarding inside here, which is the walk-in wardrobe. So he's got quite a bit done in here as well. We still need to take the 2x4s out of the floor itself here. We're going to be boarding across that. I mean, you don't have to do anything with that, because obviously the wardrobes are going to be going over this anyway, but that's got to be done. And hopefully if the window man turns up today, we're going to be getting to concentrate on here. But in an ideal world, I did really want the white mortar, the turn, to be done on these walls. We're now putting the window back here, so 3.5 inches from the side. So I wanted pretty much that much done of white mortar on all of the walls. And I also wanted at least that to be nearly finished on all doors, but it's not at the moment. So it's something we can do when the doors are in, don't get me wrong, but it's better to do it now before the doors go in. So really it might be worth me getting a mason on that today and get those completely concreted, but maybe a bit lower. Like I said yesterday, maybe if I get the masons to plaster from one side all the way to the other side, but make sure there's probably a 2 to 3 mil difference in height. That will give me a little bit of play to maybe do something else with it after the event. You know, whether I paint it, seal it, epoxy it, put a bit of PVC on it. Anyone out there got any suggestions? Obviously someone suggested PVC, which I think is a great idea. The guys are thinking it's not a good idea because it scratches too much, but it's not going to be walked on. I mean, apart from being wiped and having water dripping on it, I don't see it being an issue. I think it's a great idea. So I need to find out what the best option is for waterproof and staining. Obviously, if there's going to be water dripping all the time, then you get moss, you get mould, it changes colour. So I want to try and put something on that's easy, and PVC I think is probably the best option. We obviously have to do this today as well, so we've got to claw these back. We've got to sand around with we've got to get a wire brush on them. We need to put some Osflow on them, and then we need to get those concreted today. In fact, I might get one of the masons to get on that sooner rather than later. What else? We've got to fit the door on here today. We have some stuff coming from Coinman's in a minute. I've got a door frame and door coming for here, so we're going to fit that today. We'll try and get that fitted today. We've still got to make a window for in here, so I need to decide what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to speak to the window fit when he turns up and see what his solution is. Worst case scenario, I'll talk to a company about making a bit of glass and make a wooden frame ourselves. And then we've also got, the electricians, one thing they do have to do is put the pendulum lights in above the breakfast bar. So we need to get the breakfast bar, pendulum light sorted, and also the extractor. We've got to get the extractor marked up properly today so that we can actually get that fixed up there, because that's one thing that's going to restrict us doing the boarding, is obviously you see the big pipe that's up there. We need to work out exactly where that's going to land up being. I think it's roughly about here somewhere, but it'll be over here somewhere. So you might have to go through this 2x4 in order to get it above the actual cooker, but that needs to be done so we can get that sealed up. Other than that, other things I've asked the guys to consider, obviously, we still haven't got the around the swimming pool done, so let me go and show you that. We've still got to try and get the scratch coating around the side of the swimming pool and the front of the swimming pool, and we've got to decide whether we're going to go with grey mortar or the white mortar. So just to show you here, for instance, so we've got blue mortar going around here. I've got a hole there. Well, that'll be the overflow, I assume. So we've got blue weldcrete on here, which is obviously what they put on concrete when you're going to be reconcreting. So it's within mind, it's actually the scratch coat has been in mind. We just need to get that redone now and get it completely plastered all the way up to the top. And I think this all needs to be grey around here. So they've actually scratch coated there, but really what they should have done was, it's got to be level with this. Otherwise they're going to have to land up replastering the whole thing. So they should really be plastering this around here in grey, and we should be going white upwards and doing the same here, but round here As you can see, this would all be grey. This would all be grey. Then you could do all this grey. But obviously on the front of the house, they've obviously taken that 2-foot beam and they've made it white, which is this piece here. So that's absolutely fine on that house. But I think once we get to here, it all needs to be grey all the way around. Because that's the blue, the blue line there, look. So otherwise that would be grey and white. I don't want that. So I think we just need to cease that off in white, keep this all grey around here, and take the grey all the way around the side of the house. And then when we get to the annex, we'll make the annex from the 2-foot beam upwards in white. That's probably the best bet, I think. We've also got the damp proof to do. The guys that came to do the roof the other day, they left us some damp proof, so we can actually get on with damp proofing around here today as well. I say today, we've got so many bloody things to do. We need to damp proof all the way around here. Then eventually this will be painted a nice grey. We'll get this finished off, this sort of mess. Take any of the actual rods off, make sure we've got a nice flush line and get that completely redone. This has also got to be plastered properly. So that's another thing I need to get a price, as well as the inner trough. But I think the trough itself, the inner trough, will end up being out of the what do they call it? Diamond bright. So that will be the diamond bright I would have thought in there, but outside here will be the normal plaster, waterproof plaster. I've still got to get the steps finished off here, so we need to work out how high we're going to go here with the soil. We've actually came down an extra step as it was meant to be level with here, so as you can see, a bloody high level, but I think we're going to come down maybe another couple of steps and probably be about 1 foot to 1.5 foot off the ground here, and then level that all the way around and increase it on the way through. That's the plan. The excavator and bobcat boys don't seem to be here yet, which is a bit of a weird one. So I need to chase those up in a minute, because we've got plenty for them to get stuck into. I say the first thing I think I need to get them to do is to get this dug out. This piece here, I think I need to look at getting that dug out there. So not ideal, but I think if we don't do it, I'm pretty sure that pipe has been crushed. And we're going to end up having a whole world of trouble. Shirley asked about the well. Yeah, still no feedback from the well company. I've texted them again this morning saying now that Christmas week's out of the way, I need to know today what's going on. If I don't hear from them, then I'm going to have to just write them off, ask for a credit, because they've obviously taken up a payment up front. And then I'm going to have to try and find someone else that can do it. Don't quite understand why you can't just communicate. It's very strange. But again, like I said to Shirley in the text, give them the benefit of doubt. It's Christmas week. Maybe they're only going to be coming back today. Well, let's see. Other very busy day ahead as always. Unfortunately, going over our footsteps in the sand for some of it, and some of it being new. So 4 weeks before we've got to be in the house. So any suggestions? Give us a shout. Anyone on the island that's good at what they do, that's interested in getting involved, please let me know. And please like and share if you physically can, to try and help us get the momentum going as it has been. Thank you. 12:15, we've got quite a punishing wind today. Beautiful, obviously. But sorry if it's too loud. More shaving of walls, because we can't plaster a wall flush anymore. Anyone doing boxing, make sure the boxing is dead flush and they screw it properly, because when they pour concrete and the pressure hits, the wood bows out, concrete gets poured, and then you have a wall that lands up doing this or this, so I think we probably end up chasing about 20% of what we poured so far. So you analyse the loss in time and material, staggering really. Okay, so we're down in the actual beautiful pit, which was meant to be just a footing. Now taken up the pipe, as you can see, the pipe that was actually used to be in there, we've now taken that out. We've taken all the way along here out, and now we've cut that pipe back. So as you can see, there's the 2 pipes that were existing there and now sitting there waiting to have some new families connected. The olds are being left. This one here, as I said this morning, we're going to run that right round here. We're just going to take it through the footings, try and make sure we get the run done right, and concrete that one in. Tomorrow the plumber is trying to arrange somebody to come down and stick a camera down this one here across to that one there, because the lorry, as you can see, there's remnants of the concrete lorry here. The concrete lorry, when it did the roof, was sitting about here, and the chances are the fate that this one had, i.e. crushed to death, the chances are this one here's had the same. So rather than taking the risk, we're going to put a camera down there to analyse the actual pipe itself, and if it's disastrous, then guess what? We're taking up all of this soil that we've only just put down. Welcome to my life. Okay, what else have we been doing? Let's have a quick look. So the electricians are in here finishing off the electrics up on the roof. They're still in there doing their thing. Masons are in there by the looks of it doing something. Oh no, they're not. That's the electrician just hoovering up after himself. They'll take his temperature and they're not used to that. The Paul Men is here as well. The Paul Men and Man. He is here. He's making. This is the actual Paul himself. So the guys are down there actually plastering that waterproof coat to ensure that actually does what it needs to do. They've been chiseling off the side, again another blown bit of concrete. Yeah, as you can see the line itself, look, on the side. Even, you know, they've still got quite a bit to do here. And as you can see, even with the chisel off, look, they're still very, very close. So they're going to have to carry on all the way along to there. But that needs to be flush. And then they're going to be scratch coating that all the way along and doing the other side as well. Anthony's and team are here as well, which is great. They're actually going to be drilling the holes in the side. So underneath here at the moment, we've got a gutter that goes right through here. They're going to be at some stage, obviously, downstairs in the basement. There's a pipe the pipe that goes along there drops down into the space. They're going to elbow that into the trough, and they're going to do the same on the other side. And at some stage when we're ready, they'll literally do a disc cut all the way through the ground here, which will lead all the way down here, around this corner, all the way around to the other side. And that is what the infinity pool itself will come off of there and drain into the drain, which will go around into the trough, and the water will fall off the front. The next stage obviously is going to be putting on the diamond bright. So I'm hoping we're managing to get a nice dark colour. Even if he can't, he's basically said to me he can add the colour. We wanted black, so we're ideally going for a black infinity pool. We've got black lights for the floors, for the walls. We've got black jets for the floors. So fingers crossed he can add the colour to it, and it'll be an amazing black pool with which will absorb the heat from the sun, which will keep our energy bill down. In here we've obviously had the tracks taken up. Over here we are actually putting the rods onto the wall so we can actually get the white mortar done. So we need to make sure they're done properly. I should be analysing those in a minute myself to ensure that we don't have a gap. That's got to be done all the way through, and then we're also going to get this done as well. So Armory, who's the bricklayer at the front, I'm going to get him to do those in a minute. I want those completely flush, falling away with about a 3 to 4 mil drop from the floor in here, so that one, I've got that distance obviously coming down for the raindrop at the front, but also we're going to put some form of covering over that once we've finished. The electricians are trying to get what they can done in the ceiling here today, because the man that does all the plastering, Andrew, he wants to get stuck in on that. The cleaner's been down in the basement as far as I'm aware doing some stuff. So fingers crossed that's tidier down there at the moment. There's little fishing things hanging out now, which means cabling is going to start coming through. We need to try and get the cabling done in the ceiling sooner rather than later, because obviously that is where we need to start getting the boards up. So I've already gone through and shown you the boarding in here. Still plenty to be done. We've got some concrete board that's been brought upstairs. We're going to get the concrete board put in here over the next couple of hours, so we can actually then start sealing this up and getting ready for tiling. Tiler's on the back burner. Window man hasn't turned up today, unfortunately, saying that he can't make it until Thursday. So that's a shame, because we're trying to make a little bit of leeway on that today. So I'm sure we've got things still to prepare for that. Other than that, that's pretty much where we are for now. So I'm going to be shooting off in a second. I'm going to get some materials. Hopefully my site manager will come as well. Hi, how are you? And off the back of that, we can try and make a little small dent in this afternoon, that's for sure. That's the hope. So I'll update you in and around 1/2 o'clock. 3:45. Right. We've got the pool man that's here with his team, and they're just obviously chasing out the actual bottom pumps, jets. They have to cut them back and fit the elements themselves before they actually put the surface on. Diamond bright, plaster. Electricians are making loads of noise. Hopefully getting things done. We've removed the rods from the window, and we have now discovered that the window is in fact 2 inches lower. So we're now going to have to come up with something that's about 2 inches and a bit to try and pad the door frame. What we don't want to be doing is looking through the door frame and not seeing a flush door frame and outer skin. So if we don't actually build a framework, then when you look through the actual doors, you're going to see the door frame hanging down by 2 inches. So we've got to think about two things. Can I get my head around staring through there, seeing the doors lower, or do I build a 2.5 inch little recess underneath there that covers the door itself? Either way, we don't have a lot of time to get on that, so we need to get on that sooner rather than later. The rods are in, and I need to talk to somebody about trying to get those white mortared as soon as possible. The window thresholds here are about to be concreted this afternoon, so we're going to get those well-creted, so that we can actually then put another concrete level on top of it to get that level we want slope-wise, and then I'll look at something we finish to go over the top of that at some stage. We haven't had any progress made on the suspended walls and the channeling. We're meant to be trying to find some material today and trying to get that to site install, but that hasn't happened, so I'm not too sure what's going on there, so I'll make a phone call soon. Plumbers are on site at the moment. I'm not too sure where they are. I can hear banging going on, so I don't know if that means they're downstairs in the basement or they're up here. Not seeing anything here. Banging sounds like it's coming from downstairs. So it's incoming call. Yeah, the plumbers aren't here either. So these are the only two areas at the moment they'd be hanging around, so they must be downstairs in the basement. Obviously down in the basement is all where the infrastructure comes up through the ceiling for drainage, water, mains, etc. So they've got a lot to do at the moment. They've also got to try and keep on talking about taking the mains in from the basement over in the annex. They've got to get the mains from there right over to this patio. So they need to be working on that sooner rather than later. And then obviously what we've got to try and do at some stage today, stroke tomorrow, is start working on the actual infrastructure that are going to support the doors on this 4-foot overhang here. Now we've established that the doors are technically 2 inches shorter than we need them to be. So the opening we've made 2 inches too big, basically. It would have been perfect if we went from the floor itself, but obviously we have the recess in the floor. So I think what's happened is we've allowed for a certain amount of space above the door for things to be fitted, but I think the 2 inches is potentially been lost in the door track itself. So the door track has actually now gained us another 2 inches that we weren't anticipating having. So we've now got to either tolerate the doors being too short or build a framework above to try and lose that height. So I would probably prefer to lose the height. But anyway, the other thing that the guys are doing over the road, which I'll take you over and show you. So obviously Anthony and his boys are in the pool. I'll show you what they're doing on the actual the jets themselves. These guys are chiseling off the side, getting out more weldcrete. They love a bit of weldcrete, don't they? And also in here they're plastering inside with waterproof as well, all the way through. So that's another thing being done. As you can see, the holes that are being chased out down to the rebar are all 6, and then they're starting to fit and plaster in the actual jets themselves. Other than that, obviously the guys are all out the front working on the trenches for the footings. They've got to get down to make sure we get these pipes reordered, redelivered and reinstalled. As you can see, them all busted up and looking sorry for themselves on the top. Absolute bloody mess. So we're going to have to get that sorted as well, so not ideal. But hey ho, that is life, unfortunately. Learn by your mistakes. So anybody doing waste in the floor, you've got to use schedule 40 minimum, so the thicker waste. And you've got to try and make sure that it's protected and concreted, otherwise the pressure of the soil and the stone and general traffic just lands up bending it and crushing it. Hopefully we can get a camera put down this well here and we can see a nice straight daylight through to the other one, which means we've got away with it on this side. If not, then the excavator's going to be busy taking that up tomorrow morning, so fingers crossed it's not going to be the case. I've also been told that the well guys are coming back into the corner tomorrow, but then they've been saying that for a week or so, so I'm not too sure if that's going to happen or not. Fingers crossed he does, because we just need that thing bloody done. It's been the best part of nearly 3 and a bit weeks now. Even with a compressor, that's a 5 to 6 day job if people come and do a full day and actually stay until they finish. But at the moment, I'm not too sure how much longer it's going to be. It's probably going to be at least another 3 or 4 days. So if they can supply a compressor that lasts, and the guys that are doing it can actually do a full day, then it could be a 3/4 day job to get complete. We need that done sooner rather than later. It's just another thing ticked off and complete. Anyway, apart from that, I'll update you a bit later on. Still lots going on as we speak. So just to finish off, we're 6 p.m. Got a couple of bits to put away. So yeah, just recapping. That wasn't good news, obviously, with regards to the back garden. So what we've done in the meantime, I didn't film the last part, but obviously you've seen that the actual pipe work has been unfortunately compromised. This one here that's going to go from here to here has actually got 2 dents in it. I assume, wrong to assume, but I assume it's where the truck was coming in here and it's pushed down hard. So we're going to have no choice but to literally dig that up and replace that piece. I also asked him whilst he was here to stick the camera down here. A couple of slight dents on it, but around about here, about 18 foot, we've actually got a chip out of the pipe. So how that's happened, I don't know. So they're saying it could be okay, but I think we just may as well get the excavator out here, get all of this taken up, get that 20-foot piece replaced, but put some proper thick 40 to 80 gauge pipe work in here. And the same thing here, this will be a pipe and a piece. We'll get that bit redone as well. Again, it's unfortunate, it's a lot of work, a lot of mud, a lot of, especially after bloody putting this back in here again. And we just got to hope for goodness sake that this lot all here is okay, because this is a lot of thinner stuff. So no, my luck, it won't be. But anyway, let's try and look to the stars and look at the positive. Okay, Paul guy, fair play to him for coming out. It was nice to see him. He's actually cut these back now and has got the whatever you call them, the jets now put in. I'm not too sure if they managed to do anything else. I'm pretty sure they were working around here somewhere. Oh, okay, yeah, so they've got the overflow, which is the bit of pipe I told you about that's going through the floor here. They're going to cut through. That is now coming out here. And if I walk around here without breaking my neck, it looks like they've done something down here as well. Not too sure what they were doing there, but looks like they filled that. And again, the bit of pipe work that's going to come through here, that's there as well. So the water itself will come over into the pipe and come into the trough, and the trough will regurgitate as far as I'm aware through here. They've put something in here somewhere that will take the water back into the pump room, which is what they've been plastering today. So they've actually been plastering the inside because the waterproof wasn't done. So they've taken the waterproof up to the wall over here, around this side, and they've actually done the full wall on this side here. So this wall wasn't even done, they completely forgot it. So as they did on these. So they did these, it meant we checked that one, and that one was missed as well, so that will be done. So that's what they've been doing today. Obviously these holes here are for the lights, so I'm sure they'll be pulling lights through there at some stage. We didn't get round to doing a great deal in here in the end, in as much as we've weld-created the front here. We've got the rods up around the window. We ideally need to get this white mortared and that side mortared, as I've already said, and they've also been making some little templates to try and make sure, and they're now smooth that completely across on all 4 windows. We decided today to physically get that changed and get that put back into the wall, recessed into the wall deeper, because we don't want to be doing a 2-inch board on here. We're going to go dot and dab on there, I think that's what we agreed. The wood has turned up today to do the top piece, which we're going to do. The electricians and the plumbers have been working in and around here today. I'm not too sure what they've been doing, but they have been pulling through some of their little pulleys for the bit of light on the subject. Been pulling through their little cables so they can start pulling their cables through. They've been doing that pretty much everywhere. Cleaners left out the stuff, not good. This ceiling's got to be taken down because a lot of the conduits coming through from the electrical room need to go that way, so that's going to have to be done tomorrow. Windows are all shut. We've got the construction board brought up, but not actually had it put in as yet. So I'm going to get that started potentially tomorrow if I can. It's all in that room there somewhere. yeah, so that's pretty much where we are on the house today. It's there's been a few little minor setbacks even, talk properly. Take that down for the cleaner because she keeps forgetting. Other than that, we've got a door frame that turned up today, so we're going to try and get that installed at some stage. But tomorrow really is going to be about, I suppose the main thing is obviously looking at doing what we're going to do with the boxing across here, starting to put the infrastructure on there and getting the door frames over there, the slopes sorted out. And then I'm also going to be talking again to two companies I've been talking to about trying to get this front door built and installed. If they don't do that, then I'm going to be looking at getting some form of boarding up on there initially, because obviously we've got a doorway going on here initially. So, I'll build something out of plywood. Obviously, did make sure that's all sealed up. But hopefully they'll give us a price for the door and they'll get that made and get that installed. The electricians have been busy at it today. Conduits obviously going in, looking 10 times neater than they were initially. A couple of boards in here. Very mindful there's a lot of air, salt air coming through here, so we need to make sure. I mean, they've got it all sprayed, you can see it. This is all that, it's like a wax, all this sort of stuff they spray in. Conduits all going in, dropping down. So electricians really are making some room for, which is amazing. Plumbers obviously been doing stuff downstairs in the basement again today. And then we just need to get the lighting on the ceiling here for the pendulums, and the extractor from the plumber needs to get sorted out as well. It doesn't look like it's moved over a little bit, but that's got to be sorted out. Yeah, so hopefully we'll have a bit more of a productive day tomorrow. So today's been a bit mainly because my site manager was off until about 1 o'clock today. So having him here helping keep people on the straight and narrow is definitely essential. So tomorrow should be a better day with both of us here, that's for sure. So over and out for today.